Hello and welcome to the Supercharged math classes for kids, parents, and teachers, where we discover and I teach you how to do real hands-on science and show you how to use math as a tool in your everyday lives. Now, my name is Aurora, and I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm a university instructor. I fly airplanes. I'm an astronomer. And when I was in high school, I actually took college classes in advanced math because I was so crazy about it, and I loved it so much. And so I am here to share with you some of the things that I learned in those classes, as well as some of my passion that I have for math, and really how to use this stuff in everyday lives when you're not inside of a classroom. And so that's what we're going to study today. We're going to take a look at times tables. Now, if you're rolling your eyes, hang on a minute. Times tables, did you happen to know that a lot of schools are now requiring their students to memorize up the times tables up through 20? I mean, how many numbers is that now? That's like 400 numbers, right? That's a lot. And I'm here to tell you that if you are really clever about doing it, you actually only need to memorize 3 of those numbers. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. Okay. Before we get started, if you have a question and you'd like to send it to me, feel free to go to my website and do so. And that website is www.superchargedscience.com. Okay, so let's get started. Now, when students are taught how to do math, we're taught how to do it on paper, right? You get a paper, a pencil, you sit at a desk, and you solve math problems. But how many times have you needed to do math and you weren't at a desk and you didn't have a pencil or paper or even a calculator handy? Maybe you were in line at the grocery store. Maybe you wanted to find your gas mileage and you were pumping gas in your car. Or maybe you were reading a newspaper and you saw something that caught your attention and you wanted to do a quick calculation and you couldn't. Or even worse, maybe you were at, maybe you have at a garage sale, or you're negotiating a price on something with somebody. You're buying a car, and they're quickly running numbers by you, and you're like, oh, hang on. Or you really want to buy that extra candy bar, but you're not sure if you got enough money, and it's embarrassing if you don't. So being able to do math quickly in your head is a really useful tool, and unfortunately, it's not only not taught in schools, you don't think about doing math the same way as you do on paper. What I mean by that is I wouldn't add the numbers in the same way on paper that I do in my head, and so I'll show you step by step how to do that. But the important thing is that the math that's taught in the classroom is meant just to be done on paper, and that's not how the real world works. And so I'm going to show you now that by being clever about math, you can actually memorize, or at least be comfortable and move around in the multiplication tables in the 20 times tables. So the whole 400, the 20 by 20, so the 400 cell times tables. And so math isn't just about getting the one right answer. It's about puzzling out multiple ways to do it and finding the most efficient and the best solution, and the best way to achieve the same solution. And so that's what has always attracted me towards math. So I'm going to share that with you now. Are you ready? Okay, let me show you my desk because I've got a times table on there, and I'm going to walk you through it step by step. Here we go. Okay, so I've got a 10 by 10 times table here, and we're going to start with this, and then we'll move on to the 20 by 20. Okay, so if you've not memorized this before, or maybe you'd like to hone your skills on it, or even teach it to someone younger than you, here's how you do it. So what we do is we take a look, and we got the numbers 1 through 10 on the top, 1 through 10 on the bottom. And so when we multiply a number here, like say the 3, and we multiply it by 4, you find where those intersect, and that would be the 12. So 3 times 4 is 12. That's how this thing works. Okay, so let me show you how you already know most of the numbers on here. So it's pretty obvious that 1 times any number is that number, right? So you've already memorized this row and this column. Okay? And if you take a look down here on the tens, all you have to do is add a 0 and you get the result, don't you? So 2 times 10 is 20, 3 times 10 is 30. So you've already got those handled as well. Okay? All right, so how do we do the 2's? Okay, so in order to get 2 times anything, it's an addition problem. You're simply adding it to itself. 3 plus 3 is 6. 4 plus 4 is 8. 7 plus 7 is 14. So it's a doubling thing. So once you're comfortable with that addition problem, you've already got the 2's nailed. Okay? All right, so a place where kids have a lot of trouble are often with the 3's and 4's, and this is how we do it. I will have kids practice counting by 3's. We'll go 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, and we'll do it faster and faster and faster until it's just a rhythm that flows. But then I will start mixing it up. and I'll say 3 times 3 is, and they'll shout back 9. Okay, 5 times 3 is 15. So we'll mix up the order. And you don't even have to say 3 times 3. You can just go 3, 12, 9, 6, 18. And so they're comfortable which numbers belong to the family of 3, which are multiples of 3. And so once you do those, once you have a pattern and a rhythm, you've got those 3s down. And you use the same trick for 4s. So again, 3s and 4s require just pattern recognition. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 22, 28, 32, 36, and 40. You repeat those over and over, and you just have kids count by 4s, and that's the easiest way to get comfortable with those. And then you start doing them out of order. 8, 20, 16, 12, 28, 36, 40, 32, 4, 8, and then you throw one in to see if they're paying attention, and you say, all right, 21. They'll say, no, that's not right. And once they're comfortable with that, you've got the 4s nailed, and you can make it a game, you can make it fun. Okay. Now 5s are pretty easy for people because there's a rhythm to it. 5, 10, 15, 20, because the last digit is either a 0 or a 5. Okay, so those are pretty easy. And once you've got those figured out, you'll notice that this huge 10 by 10, which is 100 cells, is now reduced to this small one. Did you notice that? Without a whole lot of effort. Okay, so let's take a look at these. Let's take a look at the 9s. Now, 9 has this really cool property where if I have, say for example, 9 times 4, okay, the result is going to be 1 less than the number I'm multiplying 9 by. Okay, so 1 less than 4 is 3. And then the second digit here, the 1's digit, is the number I need to add to 3 in order to get the number 9. Okay, so 6 plus 3 is 9. So the answer is 36. Let's try it again. How about 9 times 7? Okay, 1 less than 7 is 6. Okay, what do I need to add to 6 to get to 9? I have to add 3. And so once you know that, you know the 9s. Okay. Whoops. Just like that. All right. Now, do you see this small square in here? Let me outline it for you so you can really see it. So we reduced 100 cells to 9. And look at this. These are the same. Did you notice that 7 times 6 is the same as 6 times 7? So we've already figured out, we'll figure these out as soon as we figure those other ones out. Okay, and the rest of them are squares. Most people have an easy time memorizing squares. So if you haven't already, you'll need to memorize these as well. But if you know 6 times 6 is 36, you can mark that one off. 7 times 7 is 49. 8 times 8 is 64. Those are pretty easy for people to memorize. Okay? And if you haven't, again, you'll need to memorize these 3 here. I'll outline them for you. Okay? That only leaves 3 left. Which 3 do we have? We have 6 times 7, which is 42. We have 6 times 8, which is 48. And we have 7 times 8, which is 56. Those are the 3 that you have to memorize. And you probably can figure out a trick for not memorizing those too if you really wanted to. Okay, but those are the musts in the table after we've gone through all the steps here. That doesn't seem so bad, does it? All right, now what about the 11 through 20 table? Okay, well, let's have a look at it. Now, you already know how to multiply any 2-digit number by 11, don't you? That was in episode 2. So if I said, what's 11 times 13? Could you tell me? You take the 1 and the 3 and separate them. 1 plus 3 is 4. The answer is 143. You now know the 11 row and column in the 11 in the times tables, the 20 times tables. Okay, so what about 12 through 19? Okay, so we're going to get to that in a minute. Let's take a look at 20. 20 times any number, okay, is simply doubled with a 0 on the end. So if I said 20 times 17, what is that? Okay, so take 17 and double it. So that's 34. Now add a 0. The result is 340. So you know the 11s and you know the 20s now. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the 12 through the 19. And there's a trick for doing that I want to share with you. Okay, I'm going to show you a trick for how to multiply numbers between 11 and 19. It works with 11, but you already know a cool way to do 11, so we'll just say between 12 and 19. Here's what you do. Suppose you've got two numbers. I want to do 17 times 12. Okay? And I want to figure out what that is. So here's how I do it. I take the 17 and I add the ones digit. Okay, and what do I get here? This is 19. All right, multiply it by 10 or add a 0 to the end, 190. Okay, save that result for a minute. Because right now I want to multiply the ones digits together. 7 times 2 is 14. Add these two numbers up and I get 204. This is the answer. Okay, let's try it again. How about another one? 13 times 16. Okay, that doesn't look very easy to do, does it? Okay, so we're going to take the 13 and add the ones digit, which is 6. Okay, and I get 19. Again, I'll have to pick a different number combination next time. Okay, and then add a 0. Okay, and now multiply the ones digits together. So 6 times 3 is 18. My answer is 208. Do you see how that works? Okay, now let's get a really hard one. How about 18 times 13? Can you do that one? Okay, 18 plus 3 is 21. Add a 0. Okay, now do the ones. 8 times 3 is 24. My result is 234. The more you practice this, the faster you're going to get at it. So what'd you think? Is that something that you'll be able to handle? With a little practice, I'm sure you're going to be able to do a much faster job than you are right now. Now remember, the point isn't to become some math genius that spouts numbers off everywhere. The point is to make it practical so that you're comfortable not only with numbers, but adding, multiplying, subtracting in your head without a problem. And I'm going to show you more tips and tricks on that as we go along. And we need to wrap it up for today, and so I wanted just to mention that there is a downloadable student worksheet that goes with this topic. For you teachers out there, you can use it for a lesson plan, or if you're a parent looking for enrichment for your child, go ahead and give it to them as well. It includes the 20s times table so they can practice this new technique of multiplying numbers between 11 and 19 together. Now, if you're a homeschool parent, feel free to use this as part of your math curriculum. You're going to find that under this video. Just enter in your email address and I will send you the student worksheet that goes with this lesson today. So thank you so much for the privilege of being your coach, teacher, and guide along your math journey, and I hope you enjoyed learning something new. If you'd like to replay this class or access the free downloads I mentioned, and I will see you in the lab.